The day after I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that? I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on. I remember one thing, I had a very hard moment in that part of my life, but I assure you in that age, I could have put that clown in the first round, but I sold my soul, and I'm ashamed of it.
Is it true that you made $170 million from this fight?
I made a lot of money, the most money I've made ever.
60 million households, Jake.
250 million people.
Bro, that is so
It's all downhill
crazy.
from here.
No, for sure.
I peaked.
How do you think the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight plays out?
I don't know. I want to make sure. I believe it once I see him in the ring.
If Paul starts his boxing career earlier, could Jake Paul have been a champion?
Is it possible?
Joe Rogan sat in his studio 3 weeks ago, and when they asked him about the Joshua fight, he didn't laugh. He didn't crack a joke. He just looked at them and said, if Anthony Joshua doesn't try to put knuckles through Jake Paul's brain, people will think it's fixed. Jake Paul's jaw broke in 2 places. That's not what is everyone talking. November 15th, 2024. 108 million people watched Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson, largest streamed sporting event ever recorded. Tyson, 58 years old, walked into that ring at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and for 8 rounds, something felt wrong. Rogan watched it happen.
I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I told y'all, they made Mike Tyson retract his statement on Twitter. They made him rewrite a post on top of deleting a post. Yeah, I told you that fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was rigged. I told you that. I don't care what Mike Tyson is saying now. He have to do that to secure his money. He's still an investment for future exhibitions.
Afterwards, he called it sparring. Not a fight, sparring. Tyson threw 97 punches across the entire fight, landed 18. Paul swept every round on the scorecards, 80-72, 79-73, 79-73. 40 million for Paul, 20 million for Tyson. By the second round, Tyson looked exhausted. 72,000 people inside that stadium started realizing what they were watching. This wasn't the Mike Tyson anyone came to see, and that's where things started to unravel. 34 days later, Jake Paul stepped in against Anthony Joshua in Miami. December 19th, another Netflix event, another massive payday. Joshua, former 2-time unified heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, 6'6", 243 pounds. Paul came in at 216, 27 pounds lighter, 5 inches shorter. The size gap was brutal to look at. Earlier that year, Joshua knocked out Francis Ngannou in 2 rounds.
Sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
This was supposed to be the real test, the one Jake Paul couldn't script or control. Odds makers put Joshua at minus 1,200. Paul sat at 700 to 1. Nobody gave him a shot. Rogan said it before the bell rang. He's a specialist at putting knuckles through your brain, and that's what he's going to try to do to Jake Paul. Joshua delivered. 6th round, knockout. Paul left in an ambulance with a fractured jaw. 2 titanium plates installed during surgery. His second pro loss. First time he'd ever been stopped. The fight ended. The questions didn't. Hours passed. The posts started rolling in. One blew up. 200,000 likes inside a day. The claim hit hard and spread fast. There was an agreement. Anthony Joshua was supposed to drag it out, make it look competitive.
Eddie, I want to follow with you because when this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, I really take my hat off. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know, he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be,
Now,
was,
zoom back to Tyson, because
was
this is
smart
where
at
The
times.
Rock
And there
shows
were
itself.
times where he held his
didn't just
feet and let
take
his
money,
hands go.
He took
It was a
responsibility
very
for
one-sided
protecting the
fight. It was
narrative.
always going to be a one.
Joshua broke the deal, took the knockout over the full payday. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit lit up. People rewatched every second, breaking down angles and body language. Here's the thing. Joshua said before the fight he'd finish Paul in the first round, called anything longer a failure. So why did it take 6? The math didn't add up for a lot of people, and that's when most valuable promotions made a move that only created more questions. December 22nd, 3 days after the knockout, Nakisa Badarian, co-founder of MVP, showed up on the Ariel Helwani show. His message was sharp. Lawyers are coming. Multiple targets. He called out the viral post directly. This post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say.
Are you in pain?
Yeah, but
Does
it's
it
not
hurt
gonna,
to-
it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two
And then
plates,
It just feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just one.
There's a darker
He labeled it defamation, promised lawsuits. Here's what landed strange. Badarian claimed there's never once in Jake Paul's career been talk of fixing. Never once. That's verifiably false, because Jake Paul is currently defending himself in a $100 million lawsuit for accusing someone else of doing exactly that. 2022.
Oh no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. Listen, know what I remember? Coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jake is doing some kind of, I don't know, what was he doing at the ring?
Oh, yeah. A little bow at the end. He bowed.
And that's the last thing I remember. You know, but the day after the fight, the day after, I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that? You know, I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
What did you think of Jake's power, man, when you were in there?
Jake Paul publicly accused Eddie Hearn, chairman of Matchroom Boxing, of bribing a judge, Judge Glenn Feldman. 2 specific fights, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, Anthony Joshua versus Oleksandr Usyk. Paul claimed Hearn paid Feldman to score the cards wrong in both. Paul's fighter Serrano lost to Taylor. Hearn's fighter Joshua lost to Usyk. Paul didn't hint at it. He stated it outright, called it obvious corruption. Hearn and Feldman filed suit. $100 million in damages. Defamation. Paul moved to dismiss. October 1st, 2024, a judge denied the motion. Case moves forward. Pre-trial conference scheduled for October 16th. The irony cuts deep. Jake Paul accused someone of rigging fights with money. Now his own company threatens lawsuits against people suggesting he did the same.
Just hoping after this Floyd fight, maybe we can have a rematch. He did well, but I want to try it again.
Is that something that you would be interested in terms of righting the wrong and knocking him
I
out?
would be interested. Yes, I would. I would be interested.
The timing feels deliberate. And then there's what nobody's saying. Mike Tyson went silent after his fight. He told reporters he felt good about his performance. I didn't prove nothing to anybody, only to myself. When they asked about retirement, he said maybe he'd fight again. Even called out Logan Paul, Jake's brother, about the money, about how the fight looked, about Rogan calling it sparring, about the accusations floating everywhere online. Nothing. Complete silence. Anthony Joshua? Same pattern. After knocking Paul out, he admitted it wasn't the best performance. The end goal was to get Jake Paul, pin him down, and hurt him. It took a bit longer than expected. That phrase echoed across every forum and comment section for days. Why longer? What timeline was expected? Joshua's camp hasn't touched the viral allegations, haven't addressed the supposed agreement rumors, haven't acknowledged 200,000 people questioning what they watched. Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoter, spoke up before the fight, called the idea of a script illegal. Do you think I would ever allow AJ to have a script with Jake? No way. After the knockout, radio silence. What they're not saying speaks louder than any prepared statement. Joe Rogan's words keep coming back around. Before the Tyson fight, he talked about hoping for magic, praying for something impossible to happen. After it ended, he just admitted he felt relieved Tyson didn't get hurt. Before Joshua, he sent Paul a direct warning. If that right hand connects, you're done. This is a giant Olympic gold medalist heavyweight one-punch nuclear power. It connected. Paul's jaw shattered. Rogan also said something else that stuck. He explained if Joshua holds back even slightly, if he doesn't go full throttle from the opening bell, everyone watching will assume it's staged. Joshua did go full force. Eventually, round 6, not round 1, not round 2, round 6. Now the lawsuits are being prepared. From Paul's team, aimed at people asking the same questions Rogan hinted at. The same questions 108 million viewers might have wondered watching Tyson move in slow motion. Questions that somehow led to Paul accepting a fight against someone who outweighed him by nearly 30 pounds and had every motivation to end it violently and fast. Except he didn't. The money becomes impossible to ignore when you line it up. $40 million for Paul against Tyson. Reports suggest Paul earned similar numbers against Joshua, though exact figures haven't been released. Joshua's purse was reportedly one of the largest of his career outside the Usyk rematches. Netflix bankrolled both events. The gate for Paul versus Joshua shattered every record at the Kaseya Center. Viewership numbers for Joshua haven't dropped yet, but MVP already labeled it historic. That's hundreds of millions moving through 2 fights separated by 34 days. Both fights ended with more questions than answers. The Tyson fight looked soft. The Joshua fight looked delayed. And the 2 men who climbed into the ring with Jake Paul, 2 of the biggest names boxing has ever produced, haven't explained a single thing. They accepted the checks. They fought. They walked away silent. Which leaves the question nobody can answer but everyone keeps circling back to. If everything happened clean, if no conversations took place about pacing or intensity or how the narrative should play out, why does every person involved seem like they're protecting the same secret? And why are the only voices making noise the ones threatening legal action?